Every single day, the choices you make, whether big or small, are shaping the path that lies ahead of you. It's easy to underestimate the power of daily actions because they often seem insignificant in the moment. Hitting the snooze button, procrastinating on a task, skipping that workout, or postponing that important conversation might not seem like a big deal today, but when repeated over time, these choices compound and create your reality. Similarly, choosing to wake up early, reading a few pages, learning a new skill, or taking small steps toward your goals may not bring instant results, but they quietly build a solid foundation for your future. Each decision is like laying a brick. One brick doesn't form a wall, but when you lay them consistently, day after day, eventually a strong structure stands tall. Most people focus on the grand moments, the big breaks, or the dramatic turning points, but in truth, your future is built in the mundane. The future version of you will either thank you or regret the habits you cultivate now. Your daily choices influence your mindset, your skills, your opportunities, and even the way others perceive you. When you choose discipline over comfort, growth over stagnation, and purpose over distraction, you set in motion a series of events that align you with the life you desire. It's not always easy to make the right choice. In fact, it often feels uncomfortable, boring, or tiring. But those who understand the power of daily discipline know that short-term discomfort leads to long-term freedom. The beauty of this principle is that you don't need to make huge leaps every day. You simply need to make the right small decisions consistently. If you choose to give your best each day, even if it's just 1% better than yesterday, that 1% compounds. Over weeks, months, and years, the gap between who you are and who you could be widens dramatically. Your future self is a reflection of your present habits, not your occasional bursts of motivation. It's what you do daily, not what you do once in a while, that defines your trajectory. This understanding also gives you a sense of power. It means that no matter where you are right now, you have the ability to change your future by changing your choices today. You're not a victim of fate, you are the author of your story. Each choice is like a pen stroke, and over time, those strokes create the picture of your life. Whether you decide to scroll endlessly on your phone or invest that time in learning something new determines the opportunities you'll have in the future. Whether you choose to stay in your comfort zone or step into discomfort determines the strength you'll build. Your daily choices may be silent, but their impact speaks loudly in the future. Discipline is often misunderstood as something rigid or restrictive, but in reality, it's the most powerful form of self-respect and self-love you can give to yourself. When you practice discipline today, you're not just following rules, you're consciously choosing to create a tomorrow that makes you proud. It's the act of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation may give you a spark, but it's discipline that keeps the fire burning when emotions fade. Every moment you choose discipline over comfort, you're shaping a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. It's in those quiet, unseen moments, waking up early when no one is watching, staying focused when distractions call, pushing through resistance when giving up feels easier, that future success is born. Imagine looking back years from now and realizing that every early morning, every workout, every hour spent learning, and every difficult choice to stay consistent built the foundation of the life you're living. That sense of pride doesn't come from luck. It comes from discipline practiced day after day. Pride tomorrow is the reward for the sacrifices made today. It's the moment you achieve a goal and know deep down that it wasn't accidental. It was earned through effort, persistence, and commitment. Discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't always feel good in the moment. It often feels like choosing the harder road while others take the easier one, but that harder road is the path that leads to growth, strength, and accomplishment. There will be days when you don't want to show up, days when excuses sound louder than your inner voice of commitment. In those moments, discipline becomes your anchor. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up consistently, even if you don't feel at your best. The power of discipline lies in its ability to turn ordinary actions into extraordinary results. A little discipline each day compounds over time, and before you realize it, you've transformed into someone who is capable, confident, and proud of their journey. This kind of pride is different from the temporary satisfaction of comfort. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it fades quickly, often leaving behind regret. Discipline, on the other hand, may feel uncomfortable at first, but its rewards are lasting. When you push through temporary discomfort, you build inner strength, mental resilience, and self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can follow through on your promises. This builds an unshakable confidence because you're no longer relying on external validation. You're relying on your own commitment. When tomorrow comes, and you see the results of your disciplined actions, you'll feel a deep sense of pride that no one can take away. Your future self will thank you for every moment you chose discipline over distraction, action over excuses, and growth over comfort. What seems like a small act of discipline today becomes a powerful force shaping your destiny. Your future self is not a distant fantasy. It's a real version of you that will live with the consequences of every decision you make today. Every habit, every choice, and every action is like a message sent forward in time, shaping the person you are becoming. When you procrastinate, neglect your goals, or give in to distractions, you're not just affecting the present moment. You're creating struggles that your future self will have to deal with. On the other hand, when you choose to take responsibility, stay focused, and make intentional decisions, you're setting your future self up for success, strength, and fulfillment. It's like planting seeds today that will grow into a forest tomorrow. Some seeds take time to sprout, but their growth is inevitable when nurtured with consistent effort. Many people live as if their future self is someone else entirely, disconnected from their current actions. They think, "I'll deal with it later," or "I'll start tomorrow," forgetting that tomorrow eventually becomes today. The truth is, the future you will inherit the reality created by the present you. If you choose discipline, learning, and growth now, your future self will live in a life shaped by strength and opportunity. If you choose avoidance and delay, your future self may live with regret and limitations. This perspective gives immense power to the present moment because it shows that the quality of your future is in your hands right now. Think of your life as a bridge being built step by step. Each action is a plank. If today's planks are weak or missing, the bridge becomes unstable, and when you try to cross it later, you face unnecessary obstacles. But if you put in the effort to make each plank strong and secure, your future self can walk across that bridge with confidence and ease. This doesn't mean every choice has to be perfect, but it does mean every choice matters. Even the smallest actions compound over time. Waking up on time, taking care of your health, staying consistent in your work, and nurturing meaningful relationships might feel ordinary. But these are the building blocks of an extraordinary life. Your future self depends on your present actions in ways you may not fully realize now. The habits you build today will either empower or restrict you. If you develop habits of focus, resilience, and discipline, your future self will navigate life with clarity and strength. If you feed habits of procrastination, laziness, or distraction, your future self may feel stuck, frustrated, and burdened by the weight of unmade decisions. Every time you make a choice today, ask yourself whether it's helping or hurting the person you want to become. This mindset keeps you accountable and aligns your actions with your long-term vision. The most empowering truth is that you hold the pen to write your future story. Your future self is counting on you to make wise, courageous, and intentional decisions today. You can either create a future filled with pride and gratitude or one shadowed by regret. The choice is entirely yours in this very moment. Small, consistent efforts may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they shape powerful outcomes that can completely transform your life. Many people overestimate the power of one big action and underestimate the impact of daily habits. It's easy to believe that success comes from sudden breakthroughs or massive changes, but the truth is, It's the quiet, repetitive, disciplined actions done every single day that create lasting results. Just like water slowly carves its way through rock, your small efforts slowly shape your future in ways that may not be visible right away but become undeniable over time. Consistency is what turns potential into reality, dreams into achievements, and intentions into tangible results. When you commit to small actions daily, whether it's reading a few pages, exercising for a short time, practicing a skill, or taking one meaningful step toward a goal, you're laying a strong foundation. At first, it might feel like nothing is happening. The results may be invisible, but behind the scenes, progress is being built. Think of it like planting seeds in the soil. For weeks, there might be no visible growth, but beneath the surface, roots are forming and the plant is preparing to break through. Your consistent efforts work the same way. Eventually, they lead to visible growth that seems sudden to others, but is actually the result of persistent dedication over time. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on a small commitment, you're proving to yourself that you can rely on your own word. This strengthens your confidence and discipline, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges in the future. Without consistency, even the best plans lose their power because scattered actions create scattered results. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right things regularly. A single workout won't transform your body, but months of consistent training will. One day of focused work won't build a career, but daily effort over time will. One act of kindness won't build strong relationships, but consistent care and attention will. There will be days when your efforts feel too small to matter. On those days, it's important to remember that success is built on momentum, not intensity alone. Small actions, when repeated, gain strength like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's tiny and slow, but as it keeps rolling, it gathers mass and speed, becoming unstoppable. The same happens with habits. What feels like a minor effort today can become a life-changing force tomorrow. The beauty of small, consistent efforts is that they're achievable. You don't need to wait for the perfect time or rely on bursts of motivation. You simply need to show up every day and give what you can. Over time, those efforts create compounding results that surprise even you. What once felt impossible becomes inevitable because you stayed consistent. These small actions, stacked together over weeks and months, lead to powerful outcomes that shape the life you desire. Every decision you make is like sending a message to your future self, shaping how you will think, feel, and live later on. These messages accumulate over time, forming the story you will eventually look back on. Each choice, whether it seems big or small, carries a weight that ripples into the future. When you choose to invest your time in meaningful activities, stay disciplined, and act with purpose, you're sending a message of strength, commitment, and care. You're telling your future self, I've got your back. But when you choose to delay, ignore responsibilities, or give in to distractions, you're essentially passing on unnecessary struggles and regret to the person you'll become. The future is built on the messages you send today through your actions. It's easy to believe that decisions made in the present don't matter that much, especially when the consequences aren't immediate. But the reality is that your life is constantly being shaped by these seemingly insignificant moments. Choosing to study instead of scrolling, to save instead of spend, to work out instead of skip, may feel minor at the time, but they send powerful signals that shape habits, mindset, and opportunities. Over time, these choices compound, forming the foundation of your future life. Every day you make a decision, you're setting a direction. Even indecision is a form of decision, often leaving your future self to deal with the consequences of what you avoided. Think about your future self receiving these messages like letters. Some are filled with encouragement, strength, and preparation, while others are blank pages or notes of apology for the things left undone. Imagine how different your future would look if every decision you make from now on carried a message of support and empowerment. Even if you can't control everything that happens, you can control the kind of foundation you're building. This perspective makes decision making more intentional because it shifts your focus from short-term comfort to long-term impact. When you're faced with a decision, big or small, pausing to consider how it will affect your future self can create a powerful mindset shift. It helps you see beyond the temporary emotions of the moment and align your actions with your bigger vision. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you need to be conscious. Each action is a piece of the puzzle, and over time, those pieces form a clear picture. The most meaningful and successful lives are built by people who understand the weight of their daily choices. They recognize that their decisions today echo through time. When you choose to send messages of consistency, courage, and clarity, your future self receives a life built on strong foundations. Every decision is an opportunity to shape that reality. The more intentional you are with the messages you send, the more empowered your future becomes. Living today in a way that makes your future self grateful requires you to shift your mindset from short-term pleasure to long-term vision. It's about recognizing that the actions, thoughts, and habits you choose right now will eventually shape the life you experience later. Gratitude from your future self doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from the deliberate choices you make today, even when they're uncomfortable or inconvenient. When you push through challenges, stay disciplined, learn new skills, and protect your time and energy, you're creating a future where you can look back and say, "I'm glad I did that." This kind of forward thinking allows you to build a life that reflects intentional effort, not random circumstances. Every day offers countless opportunities to make decisions that your future self will appreciate. It could be something as simple as drinking more water, getting enough rest, reading a few pages, or saving a small amount of money. These actions may seem ordinary, but over time they create extraordinary results. Imagine how your future self would feel if you stayed consistent with your health habits, continued to learn and grow, or committed to your goals when it was tempting to give up. That future version of you would walk with confidence, gratitude, and peace, knowing that their current reality was built by someone who cared enough to act wisely. This mindset also builds resilience because you stop living only for immediate comfort. You start to understand that temporary discomfort often leads to lasting rewards. For example, choosing to work on your goals after a tiring day may not feel pleasant now, but the skills, opportunities, and confidence it builds will make your future self thankful. Similarly, choosing to maintain healthy relationships, practice patience, and act with integrity sets the stage for a future where you have meaningful connections and a strong sense of self-worth. Another powerful aspect of living for your future self is that it keeps you aligned with your purpose. When you make decisions based only on the present moment, it's easy to drift off course and lose sight of what truly matters. But when you consider how your actions will affect your future, you create a sense of accountability. It pushes you to be intentional rather than reactive. Over time, these intentional actions compound and lead to a life that feels fulfilling rather than accidental. Your future self is like a friend you haven't met yet, waiting to experience the results of your current efforts. Whether that friend is thriving or struggling depends largely on the choices you make now. When you prioritize growth, health, learning, and meaningful action, your future self will thank you for not settling for easy paths. Living this way builds a foundation of gratitude, pride, and peace that can only be earned through consistent and thoughtful actions today.